A trade went down earlier after roster cutdown day, sending Taylor Heinicke to the LA Chargers and a 2025 conditional sixth-round draft pick to the Falcons, which can elevate to a fifth based on playing time, although if Justin Herbert is healthy, there's no way Heinicke's going to see the field, so let's just call it a sixth-round draft pick. So when that trade went down, I made a short about it, and my initial reaction to it was, good. Happy they got something for a QB3. Hopefully nothing bad happens to Kirk Cousins this year, but if something does happen, it's not like Taylor Heinicke's even the next man off the bench anyway. You've got Michael Penix for that. So, yeah, sixth-round draft pick's not going to move the needle a whole lot, but it's something. And while there are minor cap savings to be had, there are some cap savings to be had. Now, the moment that I put that short out, within about 5 or 10 minutes, comments like these started to flood in from Evan saying, go get Kadarius, or I hope we can sign Russell Gage, or Corey Davis, or Hunter Renfrow, or how about this one from Hunter? Let's try to sign Hunter Renfrow or Michael Thomas now. These were not the only comments we got, but this was just a snapshot of what my comments looked like after they traded Taylor Heinicke. So, bravo and kudos to all of you, by the way. You're kind of becoming your own little Falcons Today reporter of, connecting the dots. They trade Heinicke. All right, what's next? Well, that's what I try to strive to answer every single day on this channel. What's next? So, which receiver do you want the Falcons to sign? We're going to talk about a couple of names, but I do want to get your thoughts early on in the comment section. Don't be afraid to scroll on down, drop a name, especially if a YouTube ad break comes on by. Don't just sit and watch the ad. While the ad's rolling, type a name. When you come back up, it should be over. Now, unfortunately, if you're wondering if the Falcons are going to go out and make a big, major splash move, unlikely. They've got $1 million in cap space. I'm not really even sure how. I've looked at the numbers, and it all adds up, but still, it doesn't seem right when Kirk Cousins is the highest cap hit at just $25 million a season. They have a bunch of players in between $25 and $10 million, but still, those are the numbers. I'm not making them up. Spotrac, over the cap, they both have them right around $1 million. So here are some ways to generate more cap savings if you'd like. You can restructure all these players or some of these players or just one of these players, and you'll generate this much in cap savings. Now, I will say a restructure, to keep it short, is not the player taking less money. A contract restructure is taking a player's base salary for this season, 2024, and lowering it to the vet minimum and then prorating that fat you trimmed off for the base salary over the remaining years of their contract into signing bonuses. You lower their cap hit for this year while raising future cap hits. So why do teams do this? Well, you do it to try and spend more money now to take advantage of maybe an aggressive win-now window you have, but you also do it because the NFL salary cap is always going to go up. So you got to look at salary cap hits at percentages, not the number, right? The percentage is what you want to look at because as the cap goes up, if it goes up at a higher rate than the restructures do in terms of raising future cap hits, you're actually better off doing it, as backwards as it may sound, as long as you like the player and think they're going to be here for the duration of their contract. So with that all being said, I don't see a big name coming after trading Taylor Heinicke. I don't think the Falcons are going to decide, all right, now that Heinicke's gone, let's go get a big superstar player. No. One, I don't think they feel the need to go do that. Two, you're not going to find a superstar player most likely at this late stage in the game. It was a miracle that Justin Simmons was still a free agent and Matthew Judon was, a trade candidate. So I don't foresee a big name like Simmons or Judon coming, but there are some recognizable names. I wouldn't call any of these guys superstars. You know what I mean? Hunter Renfrow, Michael Thomas, a familiar face in Russell Gage. He was signed by the Ravens. He was cut on roster cut down day or right beforehand. Jamal Agnew is a all-pro return man, so if you want some help on special teams or speed, look at him. And then Chase Claypool, he sucks, so don't look at him. But I would say the three most notable names, Hunter Renfrow, Michael Thomas, Russell Gage. Unfortunately, Russell Gage missed 2023 due to a torn ACL, so you got to go back to 2022 for his last season. Michael Thomas and Hunter Renfrow come off down years and what's kind of been a down trajectory for them anyway over the last few years. One guy I would highlight, though, is Gage. He's got the familiarity, of course, with Atlanta and with Raheem Morris. So if the two had a good connection when they overlapped with the Falcons, that could be an easy signing and call to be made. I'm not opposed to Russell Gage coming back by any stretch. I feel like he still has some good football left in him. Now, getting released by the Ravens may point to the opposite direction, but again, it's nearly September, or it is September, depending on the time you're watching this. There's just no one that's going to come through that door and save the day for Falcons wide receiver 3 or 4. Fontenot, though, has a type. Let's start from the beginning of this offseason. Which big-name receiver did he sign? Darnell Mooney. Okay. Which type of receiver did he trade for? A speedy guy in Rondale Moore. And then when Rondale Moore went down, who did he sign? A faster guy in Jakeem Grant. Are we noticing a pattern? He's not looking for a 6'4", cinder block feet type of receivers. He wants speed. Hunter Renfrow, Michael Thomas, those speedy guys, like Hunter Renfrow maybe, Thomas not really. I don't know if Fontenot wants to pursue an older, slower receiver just because at one point Michael Thomas was good and at one point Hunter Renfrow had 1,000 yards. Now, one name I have not mentioned that definitely checks the box is Kadarius Toney. There is definitely no question about his speed, right? Turn a punt in the Super Bowl to help the Chiefs win. Yeah, Toney is probably the fastest guy on the market right now with, some level of decent experience and history. However, similar to Chase Claypool, I go back to this point. He sucks. So, do you really want to sign a guy that's not that good? I mean, his rookie season with the Giants, 420 yards, he was an absolute head case. They traded him away for a third-round pick. I mean, when a team gives up on a first-round pick that quickly, there's more than just production issues, right? Teams can sometimes work through that with first-rounders and not give up so quickly. No, I think there are major character concerns that I'm just not that interested in inheriting at this point. So, yeah, Kadarius Toney is a first-round pick at one point. Sounds compelling, and the speed element is attractive, but I'll pass. Not interested in Toney. Now, next up on the show, we're going to talk about a surprise prediction that ESPN's Dan Graziano made for all 32 teams. So you're going to want to see what he had for the Atlanta Falcons. But first, I got to tell everyone watching about Factor. If you want to save some money while also maybe eating a little bit better than you normally do, then get started with Factor today because thanks to their awesome chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto, you can save time with their meals being ready in just 2 minutes without breaking the bank in the process. With 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week, you'll always have new flavors to explore. Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. Head to factormeals.com/FalconsChat50 and use code FalconsChat50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code FalconsChat50 at factormeals.com/FalconsChat50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. I put all that information in the comments and description of today's video. Go check them out today. Now, ESPN, like I said, came out with a don't be surprised if for all 32 teams. And here was Atlanta's. Don't be surprised if Tyler Allgeier remains an annoyance to Bijan Robinson fantasy managers. This has been a very subtle fear of mine, just from a fantasy perspective. But at the end of the day, fantasy is not what the most important thing is for the Falcons. Here's what Graziano wrote, though. Robinson is a special talent and in line to be the Falcons' starting running back and get the bulk of the work. But Allgeier, who has 1,718 rushing yards through 2 NFL seasons, is too good to keep off the field completely. The Falcons trust him as a pass protector, which means he could spell Robinson in the 2-minute offense, and they trust him at the goal line, especially because of his ball security. I am slightly torn on what kind of role Tyler Allgeier is going to have this year, because everything Dan said at the end there is accurate. Allgeier is good in goal line situations, short yardage situations. He's good with ball protection. He's good in pass protection. Those are really valuable traits that Sure, they don't really pop on the screen for your fantasy team, but coach does not care about your fantasy team. They want to protect the football and protect the quarterback. And if Allgeier can do those two things, then yeah, there's going to be a role for him on this offense. I mean, last year, though, 976 rushing yards for Bijan compared to 683, with a decent edge going to Robinson in overall carries compared to Allgeier. But we don't have an exact blueprint to go off of for this year, but the closest we can come to is, what did Raheem Morris and the rest of this coaching staff that come over from the Rams do last season in LA? Again, it's not apples to apples. Sean McVay's still with the Rams. It's different personnel. But the only stat I can give you is this. Kyren Williams, the Rams starting running back, received 68% of the carries in games he played last year for LA. That's a big stakehold. Like, that's a lot of the touches going to just one running back. So my prediction for this season, last year Robinson got about 47% of the carries for all players minus quarterbacks. I think we're going to see a 60-30-10 split. 60% goes to Bijan, 30% goes to Allgeier, and the last 10% go to maybe receivers on trick plays and other various guys getting touches in the backfield. Jace McClellan here or there, Avery Williams, for example. But I think we're going to see still a majority go to Robinson, but I could see some annoyance coming through if Tyler Allgeier is the guy getting the rock at the goal line because he's just a little bit better in that area. Now, before we sign off and let you guys get on with the rest of your day, help us reach our next subscriber milestone. We are sitting right below 23,800 subscribers. So if you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and do so. Lock yourself in for the best free Falcons YouTube content out there. And as always, we got to show some love to the Dirty Birds Club. Jose Santana, Ken Ballard, Trey1222. Shout out to you three for being the first members of our Dirty Birds Club. And if you want to get shout outs for the entire 2024 season, $100 super chat during our game day watch parties, and we'll throw you on screen to get shout outs all season long.